Nation, this is Normatico here, and we are here with a new release from Hasbro. This was actually just released on Black Friday 2023. It is part of the Elite 2.0 series, the Lock and Load. Now, the Lock and Load, it comes as a set with a whole bunch of different attachments. It is modeled after the Modulus Ghost Ops ICS-6. In fact, it is basically a reshell of the ICS-6. So, that being said, it is colored in Elite 2.0 colors, quote unquote. However, there's a couple things with this blaster that we are going to discuss. First of all, like the Modulus Ghost ICS-6, it suffers from the same issues in regards to the actual tube being very small. It is smaller than the dart itself. Of those things, and if you want to see the internals of this one, go ahead and actually look at Wacom's page, and you will see that he was able to disassemble the Ghost. And, well, it's not that impressive of a blaster. But we're going to see if they've upgraded it for Elite 2.0 standards. And yeah, I will tell you, I want to apologize in advance. Unfortunately, due to the hour change and because of the way that the weather has been up here in Central Ohio, I am not going to be able to do an actual distance test outdoors. However, I got the distinct feeling that this blaster, it's probably going to be more of an indoor blaster based on the performance of the Ghost ICS-6. So, distance, maybe not going to get the 70 feet that they try to claim on most of the Elite 2.0 blasters. However, I will tell you, one of the things that I find disheartening about this particular set is that there was nothing on the box that says up to 90 feet. In fact, it just said that it included 50 Elite darts. So there's that. Usually whenever they're not promoting a distance factor on the boxes, it means that you're not going to get much performance out of this. So I do not have very high hopes regarding this particular blaster. But we are going to run through the chrono test. We are going to do an accuracy test indoors using my hallway. And we'll see if this blaster is actually fun or not. It does retail for $20 at Walmart. Of those things, that is the only place that I've seen it. I believe that there's a website called Entertainment Earth where you can actually find it for $25. I do want to let you know that Walmart tried to pull some shisty stuff here. Walmart, according to their app, said that the normal price is $40. $40. It was a cyber deal on Black Friday to get it for $20. Naturally, I purchased it because I thought, hey, you know what? Half off of the MSRP. Okay. Plus, I kind of wanted this blaster. I was looking forward to this one. It was the last of the Elite 2.0 series coming out this year. And I wanted to see what it was all about. I was really curious about the attachments. Speaking of which, I am going to show you those here shortly. Now, what Walmart did was that they put the MSRP at $40, and it is only $20 on their app. If you go into the store, even after Black Friday, even after Cyber Monday, it is still only $20. They're pulling the switcheroo on you. So if anyone actually tries to tell you that this is a $40 set, you can go tell them to go fly a kite. If you do not find it for $20, let me know. Go ahead and email me. We will arrange something so that I can get you this blaster. Though after this review, I don't know if you're going to want this unless you just want the attachments. Now, that said, let's talk about the attachments because, oh my gosh, does it come with a lot of attachments, and there's some issues with them. First of all, you have a new sight. This is different than the one that comes from the Eagle Point. This is different from the one that comes with the Phoenix. This is different from the ones that comes with any of the Elite 2.0 blasters. This is actually similar to the Modulus sight. So with Elite 2.0 coloring. Of course, you also get this extended adapter. You have two tactical rails on this extended adapter, one on top, one on the side, and I got attachments falling all over the place. You get a short distance, I guess, barrel attachment. This is similar to the ones that can come with the Modulus series, but again, with Elite 2.0 colors. The issue that I have with these attachments is that the only tactical rail up top is on this extender right here. So if you want a sight, it is there, and you're aiming down this sight like so, which, mind you, that's fine until you add the stock. That makes it a much longer view down this sight. So let's see if we can get this on camera here. That is a pretty lengthy blaster. When you add this, it gets even longer. So this is pretty big of a blaster. You got a pretty decent stock here. If you are right hand dominant and left eye dominant, you're kind of SOL. Unless you're like this. I guess that's one way to do it. It'd be nice if they had a cheek rest or something, but I guess that way you can extend. Of course, if they had this sight back here, it'd be a lot easier for you to just tilt your head and fire. Now, loading this blaster, of course, it is an ICS-6. Much like all other internal clip systems, it is top loaded. You load up 6 darts here, which I'll be honest with you, given the size of this thing, this is a primary size, not a secondary. But I will tell you that 6 rounds in a primary is not that great. Not with an internal clip system, because again, if it was an external magazine system, like a Strife or something, you slap out that one magazine, you put the other one in, boom, real fast. In this case, you have to single load each dart. Then, of course, you prime with the priming handle up here. You're ready to go and fire your first dart. You get 6 shots, and I will tell you that 6 is not enough. Now, let's talk more about attachments. Why Hasbro did this, I do not know. This is the stock attachment. This is the butt stock that actually holds a magazine. Let's include it with a blaster that does not use magazines. Internal magazine system, internal clip, external clip, internal, external, internal, external. Why Hasbro? Forget the color scheme difference, all right? Why with this blaster? This could have been with a Phoenix. This could have been with the Turbine. That would have been great. This would have been with the Echo. That would have been awesome. Why, with an internal clip, would you put a buttstock that holds a magazine? What? Crickets? You have no logical explanation for this? Okay then. All right, that's fine. Hey, we buy this blaster because we want this buttstock because it'll work with any of the Elite 2.0 blasters, right? Hold on a second. If you notice something here, you have good eyes. This is the Elite 2.0 Spectre. Obviously, it is not a magazine-using blaster, but the color scheme. Look at this blue. This is standard Elite 2.0 blue. Lock and load blue, Elite 2.0 blue. Do you see the difference here? It's kind of jarring. Now, there are some people out there that would be like, oh, well, you know what? I look at all the attachments with a can of spray paint and some sanding paper. Good on you. Yes, you can sand it down and paint it. But you know what? If you're going to release something that is part of a line, and you're going to say, hey, every other blaster in this line is this blue color, release it like this. No, do not do that. Release it like this color, not like this. Because again, mind you, I'm a color purist, but I want my blasters to look the same. And if I'm paying something for an Elite 2.0 blaster, I want it to match up, especially if I'm buying it just for the attachment points. That does not work in this case. There are some might say that, oh, well, what about the Wild Edition? Well, you know what? Yes, you could technically match this up with the Wild Edition because this blue matches the Wild Edition blue, but this blue does not. So even though there is enough contrast between the Wild Edition blue and this blue that it won't look completely jarring, Wild Edition also includes red in a lot of places. So if you were to use this on one of the 2 Wild Edition blasters, well, one of the 3 technically, there's only one that you could use this on, and that's the Storm Charge. So yeah, that comes with its own stock. Technically you could do this because it does match the blue on the Storm Charge. But again, there's no matching red, so I don't get it. I do not get it. Again, that's just a color purist in me. If you are the type that you want to actually paint these things, go for it. The blaster itself, though, it is pretty big, and yeah. Now, here's the other issue that I have with this attachment. It has so many different issues. So once you actually grip this thing, the slightest move causes that to come off. It's called the lock and load for a reason, but it doesn't lock, and that's okay. I guess, with the end strike, you want it to be able to take it off and put it back on easily, but that is a little too easy. The next thing that we need to talk about regarding this attachment right here. This little button. It's not a real button. It feels like there's some sort of like pressure switch there, like there should be a button here, but it's not. And on the back of it, let's take a look here. That right here, that's an afterthought. That looks like it was supposed to be a battery door. I wonder why they would put a battery door here. Oh, yeah! The Ghost version actually had an attachment that lit up also, and that was where the battery was for it. It's almost as if they reshelled it and forgot to do something. That's just lazy. This is lazy. This is lazy design on Hasbro's part. This is lazy design on their quality assurance because someone should have caught this. This should not have been released like this. They should have said, hey, something's missing here. What is missing? Oh, a battery. Oh, well, you know what? It's only a $20 blaster. That's fine. That's okay. Don't release it like this. Make it a solid piece. You know, this is a tease. I mean, I don't know. What would this even do? You know, are those things that G-Rex was like, oh, maybe it's dart storage. No, that's not dart storage. That is what used to be a battery. In fact, this trigger, it would be what would activate a light or something. Maybe, and here's a thought here now, and mind you, Hasbro, if you want to go ahead and actually re-release this with something new and charge people more for it, I will give you this idea for free, all right? How about, and hear me out, you people, how about we go back to when we had the Night Finder, and this activates there's a battery here, and this activates a little red light that, oh my gosh, it's like there's something right here already that you could use to put a light in. Make it like the Volt. Just saying, Hasbro. That's a real easy idea there. That's not going to cost too much, and you could just, hey, guess what? You could actually resell this attachment. And I'll go you one even better. If you make this attachment in this color scheme, people will buy it for the Phoenix, for the Echo, maybe even for the Scepter. Heck, even for the Turbine. Just saying. That is some free advice to you, Hasbro. Now, sight itself, again, other than the color, this is the typical Modulus sight that you could find before. And even this barrel, it's not too bad. It's okay. Again, it's a short barrel. It's fine. But this right here, come on, guys, do better. Do better. And that just makes no sense. It really doesn't. Not with this blaster. You could have released this one with the Storm Charge instead of the one that came with the Storm Charge, and that would have made more sense. Yeah. All right. Okay then. But again, $20, I'm not going to complain too much because you do get a lot of attachments, which is kind of cool, and you have 50 darts, which is kind of amazing. I know people are like, oh, God, they're elite darts, though. You know what? It's still 50 darts. A bag of 50 darts is going to run you about $7 to $8 on its own. So once you subtract that from the $20, you're looking at $12 for this. And once you actually analyze that, $12 for this blaster and all the attachments, I guess that's okay. That's actually quite a bargain when you think about it. Just the attachments alone. So, yeah. That said, though, gripe over. Let's go and actually run this through the chronograph and do the accuracy test. Again, I apologize I'm not going to be able to do a distance test because Ohio. What else can there be said? Up next, the chronograph test. All right, now it's for the accuracy test. We are going to do two different tests here. I'm going to do 6 darts using the full body itself. Then I'm actually going to reload and just use 6 using the main without the sight. Yeah, 6 down the hall as quickly as we can. Well, we have our 6 darts. We are primed. We are ready to go. That's not bad, especially considering we're using elite darts. That's actually not bad at all. So yeah. Up next, my final thoughts regarding the lock and load. All right, so here are my final thoughts regarding the lock and load blaster. I'll be honest with you, the attachments, in spite of their flaws, they're all right. If it was the Elite 2.0 standard colors, I would be overjoyed with what I purchased. As it stands right now, these attachments are only going to work with a certain amount of blasters. Also, I do want to point out that they actually did something really cool with the blaster here, and I appreciate this, Hasbro. You can kind of see it on here. There's like a texture to the actual blaster shell itself, which is on both sides, which is kind of neat. Even though only one side has the paint on it and the white lettering, but that's pretty standard for Hasbro. The performance, it's a Hasbro product. I'm not expecting top tier performance. If I wanted to do that, I would actually go ahead and actually build my own blaster. I would go with a pro blaster. I would actually use a flywheel and modify it. That said, I am a little troubled with the fact that it is very inconsistent. Yes, when you actually take off all the attachments, you can hit into the 60 range. I believe we got up to 64 at one point in time, which is still technically below Elite 2.0 standards, because Elite standards is anywhere between 65 to 70 on average, and up when it comes to caps. We were hitting at some points in the 40 range. I will tell you that you didn't see it on camera, but when you use older darts, this thing dips down into the 30 range, which is not good at all. That is sub end strike level. In fact, that is almost the second worst blaster that I've used this year. I was actually able to get more out of the AccuStrike, what was that one called? The Uppercut. And that's a Hamp. So, yeah. The only one that is actually worse than this one, in my opinion, when it comes to the low 30 numbers, is the Quad Blaster, the one from Guardians of the Galaxy, which only hit 25. So, but again, that's geared towards 6-year-olds. This is for 8-year-olds. Speaking of which, who is this blaster for? It says 8 and up, obviously, because it can hit in the 60 to 65 range. That said, this blaster, when you actually combine everything for an 8-year-old, it's pretty big. Even for me as an adult, this is a pretty large blaster. It is about the size, roughly, if I was to hold it up there, you could probably compare this to the Dart Zone Mark 1.2, or even a Nexus Pro, I think, in size. Unless, of course, you have an extended barrel attachment or a SCAR, at which point in time, then, yeah, the Nexus Pro is a little bit longer. But with all the attachments, this is a pretty large blaster. I'm trying to lean back as far as I can in my chair so we can get it all in one shot. So, yeah, it is wider than my shoulders. Imagine an 8-year-old with this. It's going to be kind of hard for them to aim with. Now, when you take this off, different story. That's much more manageable. You can actually just top prime like that and fire. But again, the way that this is designed, there's no actual tactical rail up here, so you can't really use a sight. There is kind of a micro iron sight up here that you can line up with the sight on the handle if you are inclined to do so. It does feel like back here there should have been a tactical rail on the buttstock itself. Maybe that would have been a cool little spot to add an additional little sight. Then, of course, you do have the rails here, which are good if you have a flashlight attachment, quote-unquote modulus, or if you have one of these Nerf storage racks like I do to my side over here, you can actually slide that and store it that way. That is why you would put a tactical rail there, I guess. Seeing as they do not have dart storage for Elite 2.0 yet, maybe they will do so in the future, kind of like what they've done in the past with the Modulus Ironfire, or the Ion Fire, and the Rebel series that they actually had dart storage, things that you can attach to a tactical rail. That would be pretty cool because, again, it is an internal clip system, and that way you can actually just keep an additional 6 darts here instead of in your pocket like what I had to do when I was doing the accuracy test. So, yeah. That said, I don't hate it. It's not the worst blaster that's ever been released, but it is far from a good, solid offering with Elite 2.0. Right now, I would rank this in my top 5 disappointing blasters of the year. Originally, I was going to add the Contender on there because I was hoping for more out of the Contender, but I kind of enjoyed the Contender better than this one. The Contender actually performs better than this. So, yeah. For a blaster that cost $20 versus a blaster that cost $15, I'm shocked. The Contender itself was in the top 5 for the, I guess, the lowest 5, but yeah, this one beat it out. Yeah. That said, I do want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Again, it is now almost Christmas time in 2023. Be prepared because even though it is not time to do another blaster giveaway, I am feeling very, very, very generous. And that being said, Santa Normatico is going to be making a video here actually offering a free blaster to somebody. Not a new in-box one, unfortunately. That's saved for the actual free blaster giveaways. However, I might actually reach into my stash here and give a secondhand that is like new blaster to someone who would like a Christmas present from Secondhand Blasters. This will include some complimentary darts and magazines as well, if that is one of the blasters that is going out that uses a magazine. Ideally, if I could actually do a modded blaster, I'd like to actually give away one of my modded blasters. Who knows? Maybe I'll do like a rewire or something and be like, hey, here you go. It's set up to take the 3.7 volts. You just got to buy your own batteries, and it's a modified flywheel. We'll see what we do. Until next time, keep on blasting.